Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is the second part of LEN Live Chat because we ran out of time last time, which is great. It means you were chatting a lot. So let's jump right in to where we left off, which was in the chat about French films. And let's see, where were we up to? Alwind came in and said, that's good advices for all. Okay, that's good advice for all. Advice is uncountable. Yeah, it's so precious you can't count it, especially good advice. When you say that's good advice for all, said Zeb, do you mean that you're going to watch some French films? And Sarah did come back to Zeb, and it came on later. Thank you so much, Zeb. I hope I get few with English subtitles. I will surf. Once again, thank you so much for taking time, especially when the deadline of your project is looming. Quite right. Thank people when they take time. Time is so precious. You can't buy it. Okay, so if somebody gives you their time, take it for what it is. It's a gift. So, what you wanted to say, Sarah, I think, is thank you so much. They're perfect. I hope I'll be able to get a few with English subtitles. And then the next sentence, especially, isn't especially, ESPECIALLY. And deadline isn't deadline, it's one word, deadline. So join the two together. Okay. Zeb said to Zara, switching to other activities during the weekend has no end of good for releasing work pressure and thinking more clearly afterwards. Okay, so I think best to say switching to other activities during the weekend does no end of good. It releases work pressure and you can think more clearly afterwards. Keep me posted if you ever watch any of them. You might also like to have a look at Le Comte de Monte Cristo, the 1954 version. This one seems to be on YouTube, the French version, and the subtitles can easily be found. Sarah then replied, I recently watched a couple of Thai language plays and movies, of course with English subtitles in order to understand their culture. So you need to say I watched a couple of. I recently watched a couple of Thai language plays and movies with English subtitles, of course, in order to try to understand their culture. Okay, I don't think you can understand the culture by watching a film, but you can try. Actually, I am quite curious about the rituals of Buddhists. It was a great and opinion-changing experience. I found out that Thai people are pretty shy and very traditional. Watching foreign language movies is really a good way to get familiar with different societies. Personally, I feel that movies and plays do not depict the true picture of a culture or country. So here you could say, personally, I feel that movies and plays cannot depict the true culture of a country. Okay, or cannot give you a true picture of a culture or country. That would be fine. But a comma after personally, okay? Nonetheless, these are the great sources of information. Nonetheless, these are great sources of information, comma, even if only 40% of a movie is relevant. That's true. I mean, imagine learning American culture from American movies. You really don't want to do that. Zeb then came back and said, wow, Sarah, you demonstrate quite a curiosity towards other cultures. I don't watch many foreign movies or plays. I don't read much either, but I agree, movies and books are fantastic windows to other cultures. Sarah then said, because mine is in the translation and not as rich as many others I found. I want to know what is good about others and bad about mine. It's just different, yeah. Okay, I think what you want to say is because my country is in transition, and the culture is not as rich as many others I have found. I want to know what is good about others and bad about mine. Zeb then came back and said, it's also what you get when you travel abroad. I get to discover more about my own culture outside France, both what I like and dislike about it, while I'm learning about the country I visit. Okay, well, you could say at the end here, while I'm learning about the country I'm visiting. Yeah, I think to really truly understand the culture you need to live and work in a country for a while, because even as a tourist you only get to brush the surface of what's really going on and you don't get to know that many locals unless you're Zeb, because you'll just brilliant at talking to anybody. I should go travelling with you, Zeb. I'm sure I'd learn a lot more than travelling on my own and not talking to anyone. Okay, Sarah came back and said, "You're right. It helps to maintain and preserve good things in your society and defy or discourage the bad one. Okay, the bad ones, no matter how small or insignificant they might look." Oh, changing culture though, that's difficult. Yeah. I always think change yourself rather than trying to change what's around you. Zeb came back and said, "I just think that it makes us to be able to see things with different perspectives." Okay, I just think that it makes us able to see things with a different perspective. Okay, or from a different perspective would even be better, from a different perspective. What is considered good or bad is often linked to a cultural context in a location and time frame. I do my most not to use good or bad in my interactions with people, because when you use them, you more than often have strong reactions with people sticking to their guns. Okay, I think you mean when you use them, you more than often get a strong reaction and people stick to their guns. Very good, nice chat, and I think that could be a whole topic. And changing culture, wow, that's a whole website, that is. Best way to learn about a culture? Ask people. Ask people who are living there. Ask them if it's true, what you saw in a film, what you read in a book. Because quite often we talked about India on Monday in Skype, and it was interesting because some people said, yeah, it's like that, or no, it's not like that anymore. Only in the villages, not in the cities. It was great. And then Free to Chat came along and said, "Hi, anyone help me to improve my English?" So Free to Chat, hi is fine, but then you might want to say, "Can anyone here help me improve my English?" And then put a question mark at the end. I replied, "Hi, Free to Chat, when are you?" Free to chat, I mean, but maybe you didn't understand what I meant. My sense of humour can sometimes get the better of people, I'm afraid. And that really is it for this week. Well, actually for last week, really. Sorry about the length of time it's taken me to do the second part. I sort of mistimed my spare time, if you see what I mean. I'd forgotten we had visitors this weekend. So things were a little frantic, and as you can imagine, you can't really have visitors, guests in the house and say, "Oh, I'm just going to go online and do a recording." And my motto on the network is always, we do what we can when we can. So I hope you enjoyed listening to this little bit. It's always a pleasure reading out your comments, making the little corrections that will hopefully help you in your journey towards learning English. Take care, and hopefully I'll see your chats on live chat and be able to read them out in the live chat broadcast on Tuesday.